Howdy. This is Evan, and I have the one and only vampire stepdad.
Yeah, I'd like to think there's not any others.
Yeah, well, you never know. Marriage
True.
being such as it is.
Yeah.
So, tell us about you and, how you got out of coffins and into music.
Well, let's see. Um, I've been doing music for 20 some years now, in various forms and other. But this previous incarnation, the synthwave stuff, I started a little bit over a year ago. Actually, June 8th will be the 1 year anniversary of the first song that I ever released, Columbia.
Oh, cool.
Um, which I actually didn't realize until after I had set the release date for this latest EP. But
Oh, that's actually
but
pretty
yeah,
cool.
it's been
Fortuitous, even.
yeah, it's been an eventful year. I've learned a lot.
Yeah. I've seen that the community's really cool. There's a lot of really decent folks in the synthwave scene, Everybody's trying
Yeah,
to help everybody out, kind of.
definitely, definitely. I actually I have a band, a metal band, and trying to promote things in the two different scenes is night and day.
Oh, I can
Um,
only imagine.
I've learned a lot, because my band released an album too, just a few months ago, and so I've learned a lot between both, and it's kind of crazy how I think if this was anyone's first scene of trying to release music in, they are spoiled
Oh,
because
yeah,
uh,
completely.
you've got an audience that is just just gagging for more music, and
Hmm.
you've got plenty of producers that are spitting out some decent quality stuff. So yeah, it's a good scene to be part of, certainly.
It really is. And, decent folks from what I've seen. I haven't run across. Well, it seems like everything that's happening in the synthwave and kind of the vaporwave scenes has been really kind of. It's fallen completely outside of the mainstream, so a lot of that
Yeah.
media, corruption kind of hasn't got its talons into things.
Yeah, I've heard a couple little stories about different labels, putting together things and then not paying anybody. But
Yeah.
other than that, yeah, I've really, the only thing I've heard about other synthwave artists or anything is maybe some personality clashes. But other than that, yeah, no real drama or anything. So it's kind of
Yeah.
boring in that way if you think about it. If you're into
Well,
that sort of thing.
yeah, but all said, that's really kind of better. I mean, it's going to make for
Oh,
better
definitely.
music overall because if you've got people that enjoy working with each other, then you've
Hmm.
got, you just end up with a better scene in the end of things.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, lots of really supportive other producers and stuff. People really willing to share tips and tricks, and posting video tutorials and stuff like that. Like if it wasn't for Nigel Silva, the encounter, I don't know if I would have even started, because his how to make synthwave tutorial was tremendously helpful to me. So
Oh, well, I haven't seen that. I'll have to check that out.
oh, it's a good one. There's one of the he suggests a plugin SQ8L, and it's a great free VST of the I think it's the Insonic 80, I think,
Hmm.
a rip off of it.
Yeah.
And when I look back at my old sessions, it's like nothing but that VST, because the stock sounds on it are just so they're just so pitch perfect.
No,
But
that's
yeah,
awesome.
and that was before I learned how to really do anything with, you know, besides tweak presets. So yeah.
No, no, absolutely. So why don't I cue up? Well, hey, I'll just go ahead and cue up the beginning of the album. We'll let that
Cool.
run in the background so that people can get a taste of the album that just hit today, right?
Yep. Yep.
Awesome,
And that
awesome.
was
So how's it doing so far?
it's doing good. I'd been kind of sitting on this for way too long, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna put it out, and I tried really hard to pull together some money to get some decent art, and I couldn't, and because I want to, I believe in value for value, so I
Yeah.
want to be able to pay whoever I'm asking to do work for me, and I couldn't, so I came up with a album cover that I could pull off, which is literally just a stock image of a sweater. Um, But
Hey,
and I
I
called it
work
sweater weather
with
because
a
I
guy.
couldn't come up with anything more creative than that.
Well, there's a
And
guy I work with that did my background, Arcadia Lad. He does
mhm.
stuff for free. He'll do stuff on the back end for you.
Yeah, and I know, and there's some other people that I've talked to that are willing to do stuff for free, and I'm hugely appreciative of that. I just feel really weird asking people. Like I don't want to be like, so could you do this for free? Um,
Right.
and not that I would ever turn down free work because if that's what you want to do, then I'm not going to yell at you. But the other thing too is when you're paying somebody, they are a lot more dependable.
Well,
Because
true.
I love anyone who would give away their work for free, but then you can't hold them to anything. So I've learned that the hard way a few times. So actually, I think I've talked to two different artists that were offering to do free and never got around to it. So but so anyways, yeah, I pulled this together and just kind of picked a date, and then I spent the past 2 weeks just eating, breathing, promoting this album, which has been a new experience too. And I just kind of did a crash course in it, and it's worked out pretty well. I mean, I don't know if I want to give out specific numbers or anything.
Oh
They're
yeah.
not that impressive, but
Well,
uh, so far I've done better than I had kind of hoped. And it's only the first day of release, so
that's really
um,
good to hear.
I pre-sold almost as much as I sold in entirety of my first EP. So
Oh really? Oh,
to date, so
congratulations.
that's really good.
That's
So
excellent to hear.
yeah, so I'm pretty happy right now. I'm actually I'm writing up a big article on like what I've experienced the past 2 weeks and how I've used the different social media platforms and blah blah blah, and hopefully it'll help some people out. But yeah, it's been fun.
No, no,
It's been
that's really
exhausting,
good to
but it's
hear.
been fun.
And you've got a good sound too. It's a good traditional sound. It's a little more full than some of the other artists out there. There's
Thank you.
like you familiar with Democles?
Yeah, I've listened to some of his stuff. Oh shoot, which is surfing.
Surfing the Ozone.
There we go, surfing the
Yeah.
ozone. The hook in that will get stuck in your head for days.
Oh yeah. I
But
mean, he is masterful in his construction of the music. He's got. I mean, he's going like 11, 12, 13, 14, like maybe even 17 or 19 layers deep.
yeah, yeah.
That's something else. But I mean, some of these cats out there, it's good music, but they're
Mhm.
only putting out something with what, maybe 3, 4 tracks.
Yeah, yeah,
Not to say there's anything wrong with that, especially
yeah.
if you're pulling off an intentional. What's the term? Like, oh crap, I forget the word. But when you're minimalist, when you're going for
Oh
like a
yeah,
minimalist vibe.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I kind of worry that a lot of times my stuff is too much, but uh, you just keep adding and you keep adding and you keep adding, and sometimes you listen to some because you're like, I want it to sound huge, and so you're like, another 15 tracks will make it sound great, and um, and then you listen to some of the older stuff, and they're like, oh yeah, this was all done like with 6 7 tracks, and it just sounds enormous, and you're just like, damn, what was I doing wrong? But yeah, I don't know. Some of my stuff is is a little more stripped down, and others of it is pretty dense. Green Berets is very dense. Um,
Yeah,
and
I
yeah, I
figured that
mean,
would be a good one to bring up, considering this one, it has kind of the that full sound.
mhm. Yeah, and that was well, it'll come back to haunt you too, because once you start mixing, uh, it can become really tricky balancing everything. Putting it having everything having its place when you've got 12 synths going on, and all of them are these huge, big, full-bodied synths. So
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
yeah,
I mean, my experience in music making is really, really rudimentary.
yeah, it's I don't know. I just can't stop doing it.
Hey man, keep it up, keep it up.
Yeah, yeah,
There's always room for more good tunes in this ever growing community.
yeah. Yeah, I'm glad. You know, I've gotten I've been getting a lot of good response. It's very validating. You know, spending plenty of nights staying up way too late,
Yeah,
frustrated with whatever I've put out, and hearing other people say, "Hey, this was really good." It's like, thank you. So,
yeah. Well, that's what keeps you going, knowing that there are
oh,
people out there who appreciate what you're doing.
yeah. Sorry, hold on a second.
Yeah, sure, sure.
My cats are fighting in the hallway.
Ah, understood. I know what that's all
Uh,
about.
uh, yeah. Actually, one thing that, excuse me, um, just speaking of super supportive community and being feeling validated, the amount of people who have paid more than my minimum asking price has been pretty astounding. Like I want to say it's close to like 50%.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which is just that just boggles my mind because you know my first EP I put it out for free slash name your own price. Um, and I did it for the same reason a lot of people do it. You know, you're like, well, I really want my music out there,
Yeah,
and if people like it, then they'll give me some money, blah blah blah, and that sort of thing. But since then, I've been thinking a lot about it, and I've just come to the conclusion that you give value when you get value.
yeah.
So if if people like my music, then they're going to be willing to plop down a little bit of money for it.
Oh, of course.
And the thing that has surprised me is the people who are like, screw $3, I'll give you $5. So that's been hugely validating. So
Well, a lot of us grew up in a time when, you go out and pick up an EP and LP, it's going to run you $10, $15. So
yeah,
being able to get a full, decent album, or if not a long play, and a little bit longer EP for
yeah,
$3, $4, $5, that's great.
yeah.
And I don't know if you're familiar with groupies, but they've done some synthwave bundles, and
Mm-hmm.
it might be worth your while to check with them and see if they're doing another one in the future to try and get in on that.
I actually have an email going back and forth with them right now.
Oh, awesome!
I heard Tom Stewart, Occam's Laser, on your interview talking about that, and I was like, I should check into that. So,
Totally worth it. Yeah, I've picked
yeah.
up every synthwave bundle from there. It's totally, it's a great platform. It seems like a lot of decent folks there. It doesn't seem as some of the other like Humble. It's kind of cliquish.
Mm-hmm.
And or like Indie Gala, on the other hand, is a little more open, friendly.
Mm-hmm.
And groupies seems really cool. They're like really, really indie friendly, and they're really kind of politically agnostic, which is what you really want in a platform.
Yeah. My my other band did a groupies bundle a long time ago, and we didn't see much from it. But it's just metal genres are so specific.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
harder to. And we were in one of those just kind of big. We were thrown in, I think, with some couple comics, and stuff. So it didn't turn out great, but
Yeah.
the fact that they have specific synthwave bundles certainly seems to.
Well, if nothing else, it's a great way to just get some exposure and a couple bucks.
Yeah,
I mean, you'll have people that'll pick it up that are just gonna grab it because, oh hey, that's just a couple dollars, sure.
Yeah.
And then you get some folks in those that'll really, really pitch in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm genuinely surprised. I've seen people that'll throw in on like these $3 and $4 bundles, like $40 and $50.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I like those kind of people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course, now I feel like such a jerk talking about money so much, but
well, we gotta feed ourselves. We gotta keep the roofs over our heads, and gotta stay in cat litter.
I mean, I was pulling on my hair for about album art because so much of this scene is visual.
Yeah.
Because I mean, as definitive as the sound of the '80s are.
Yeah, it has a look.
You can't deny the visuals, and so I was like, you gotta have something that like it's got to be striking, and I mean, I from my logo, my art and stuff, I did plop down a lot of money to get Michael Malden to do that, and he does great work, and he picked up on exactly what I was trying to go for, and and so that was a great experience. But I still haven't made back, even half of the money I spent for that. So
Well,
um,
as they say, you got to make spend money to make money, right?
yeah, I just haven't quite gotten to the make money part yet. But we're the EP's doing well, so I'm really happy.
Yeah, well, you get there. You get there.
Yeah. I just hope I can turn it back around and buy more plugins, pretty much. So
Oh, well, yeah.
yeah, but
Any
yeah,
thoughts on trying any live performances?
you know, um, it would be cool, but with my musical background, being in metal bands and punk bands when I was a kid and stuff, to me, a show is kind of, I don't know, not to sound cheesy, but like a stage performance is like sacred, and you really don't even bother to get up on stage unless you're going to do something that really matters. Um,
I can
and
appreciate
so,
that.
uh, so I just personally feel like pulling off, like for me to do a Vampire Stepdad live show, I'd want to be able to pull off something like what Carpenter Brute's doing right now with a partial band or something like that. Um, and so that's not gonna happen. uh,
Well,
um,
you've got two ways you can take it, really. I mean, you can
yeah.
either get somebody to put you together a really nice backdrop production and then
Hmm.
do something like a Daft Punk kind of show,
Yeah.
or, yeah, put together a band.
Yeah. And I actually, not like pretty much none of my history is in electronic music, so I don't think I've ever been to a single live show that's could even really be. You know what? There was a Ramstein show I went to once that had a DJ that opened for it, and yeah, it wasn't that great. But
Yeah, well,
so yeah, I don't have a lot of experience as far as electronic music performance wise. And the snooty part of me when I see the guys who DJ their sets, um, I get all judgmental and I roll my eyes because in my mind that's like the worst thing in the world. Um, but I don't know, who am I to talk? I sit here and I make everything inside my computer, and I don't own any hardware, so who gives a crap what I think about it. So, but yeah, uh, live show would be a lot of fun to do. I just don't ever think I could pull it off in a way that I would be satisfied with,
I can appreciate that. Well,
unless
have
this
you
next EP
considered
does
maybe,
really really good.
have you thought of maybe doing something like a live stream? Maybe not necessarily like a video stream, but like live music happening with, I don't know, like some custom background, like some, what was it, Magic High? Is that what it was? No,
I
that's
don't
those are stills.
I don't know.
Oh man,
I don't think I've ever seen anybody do that kind of thing.
yeah, do some. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of options. If nothing else, you could get. I don't know. I don't know. That might be something to consider. I mean, just get yourself the right set of visualization plugins and just maybe put something together and try to put together some live music.
Yeah, yeah. I've not done. I don't do much live with Vampire Stepdad as far as like even the writing and recording process. Um, I'm a I'm most comfortable on guitar, um,
Okay.
and so keyboards are kind of new to me. Although I'm learning them and enjoying them.
Well, then perhaps you
Um,
need a guitar.
yeah, you know it. But again,
Absolutely.
I can't even afford album artwork. I can't start buying
Right.
guitars that only I'll see. But but yeah, I have some ideas for to kind of try and make. I have an idea for a video for I don't know whatever the next EP will be, that will have some performance elements in it somewhat. But yeah, I don't know. I'm an old dude. This is kind of a side project thing, so I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'd never say no to anything, but
All right. Well, yeah, you never know what's going to be coming around the corner.
this is true. This is true.
So, what got you into the synthwave scene? Like,
There was a video. I've been meaning to find it. It was a video of I guess he's a visual effects artist or something. This guy had it's like a battle between RC cars. Like they're just toy remote control cars, and they're in like a gravel lot. Um, and then he CGs in all these explosions and missiles and stuff. And the background music was Carpenter Brute. Um,
Nice.
and I can't remember which song it was. It was off the first EP, and I heard that music and I was like, "Damn, that music is crazy!" Like that was awesome. And I got that first EP. I think it was before the second one came out. No, the second one had come out. Um, so, anyways, I checked out that first EP, and I really didn't have any reference for it for the music, because Carpenter Brute is, I mean, he's amazing. Like he's to this day, he's my favorite synthwave artist, but he doesn't hold on to the '80s cliches as much as like even I do. Um, so at first, I didn't quite pick up the whole like '80s vibe from it, but before then, like pretty much the only electronic music I'd ever listened to, except for maybe Pitch Shifter long, long ago,
Right.
was like Glitch Mob. Like I really liked the first Glitch Mob album.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
that's some good stuff. I've actually played a couple of Glitch Mob songs on a few of my shows.
yeah, that first Glitch Mob album is amazing. And then there's one oh shoot, it might be Zombie Disco Italia, whichever. Uh, but that song, yeah, I was kind of like, now, like I sent a message to my friend. It's like, check this out. It sounds like Glitch Mob from the '80s. Um, and for what some reason that clicked, and I started looking around, and I realized, oh, these guys are all kind of channeling the '80s stuff. And I was like, wait a minute, that's amazing because when I was a kid, I loved action movies, and all this is all music like that.
Oh, it totally
Um,
is.
so that's when that really clicked, and honestly, like as soon as I figured out that synthwave was a thing, I was like, okay, I got to try and make this, because that's how I like to consume art. As soon as I can see someone else doing it, I'm like, all right, let me see if I can try and do that. Often to great failure, but so far, the synthwave thing has worked out very well. So,
Hey, well, that's
um,
great. And the thing about it is, I mean, it got its start, I think, 2013, kind of officially, is what I hear.
yeah, I've heard some earlier stuff like 2005 or 2007 or something like just
Well,
really
yeah, I mean,
early,
of course,
but
people have been making throwback music, but,
yeah, well, sure.
it
Or
was,
like guys like Damocles say, yeah, we just never stopped, so
yeah, and I mean, that's absolutely true. You have cats
yeah,
like him that are just, you know, old school and just
yeah.
awesome as hell. 'Cause-
Well, it's like I used to make the joke that every sax player wishes it was still the '80s.
right?
And I've made that joke for 15 years or something. And now I've realized that, like, oh no, this is the thing. Like if you hang around on something long enough, it'll come back around.
Yeah,
Um,
pretty much.
and now I'm like, I don't know why there's not. I found a guy on Instagram that I'm talking to that I'm hoping to get to play some saxophone on some stuff.
Ah,
Um,
nice. There is
and
not enough horn.
yeah, I haven't dropped the word on him yet, but once I get something from him, I think I'm gonna let him know, dude. If you stepped into the synthwave world right now, you could like be king of the castle. Like
Yeah.
you could swoop in and be like, I am the saxophone god. Come to me and I will give you saxophone. Like
Like,
you
yeah,
would be on everything.
we get a sax guy
Um,
in here, we get a trumpet guy in here, and we get a clarinet guy in here. It's over.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, they would, they would, they'd clean up.
Oh yeah.
But but yeah, so it's pretty cool. Like there's part of me that's like, this is amazing. I love that the stuff that I grew up with is like cool again and blah blah. And then there's another part of me that's very aware that I'm a dude in his mid 30s who's making music from his childhood, thinking it's cool again. Like so, I
Well,
take everything with a grain of salt. I can never take myself too seriously.
well, you can, but see, the thing about it is cool again.
You know, I like to think so.
Hey, you
So
don't have to. The numbers don't lie, man.
yeah, that's true. That's true. There's enough other people who've confirmed it. But yeah,
As a matter of fact, I think this might, a lot of the popularity might tie into some of the whole anti-establishment sentiment that's just kind of running rampant in Western society these days.
sure, sure.
We're
Yeah.
wanting to kind of go back to a time when we understood things.
Or so we think. I mean, there's
Yeah,
the
well,
whole Cold War and all that stuff, but
Well, hey, at least we understood what was going on. It's like we got
that's
those guys. on that
Life
side of
is easier
the
when you know
curtain.
exactly who the bad guy is. So,
Yeah. Oh man, we haven't known that in a long time.
mm,
Well, that's not true.
yeah,
I mean, we know who a couple of them are, but
sure, sure. Yeah, that's what I always loved about um, well, that's yeah. I've just always been a sucker for that super cheesy cliche '80s plot line of whatever is important to the main character. Some big businessman wants to come in and ruin it, and then but if the main character can just do this one thing, he can save it. Whether it be an orphanage and a breakdance concert, or you
yes.
know, like whatever.
Or
Like
maybe
that's
he
why I
might
always
have to
love.
do a breakdance concert, to save the orphanage.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, of course.
From the
Because
mafia.
logic, that just makes sense.
Or surf
But
Nazis, even.
yeah, well, that's why I liked the early Happy Madison movies, like Billy Madison and stuff, where it was just that plot line. Like he just kept doing that plot line again. He had to do the spelling bee or whatever to graduate so he could control the company, and then or with Happy Gilmore, if he could just win the golf contest, he'd be able to save his mom. Just that stuff. Uh, um, yeah, I don't know why that always that just for some reason that I just love the underdog, I guess.
Well, no,
Yeah.
no, that's understandable. I mean, like I say, I keep saying that's understandable too much. I'm going to say something different next time.
Maybe
Anyway,
I'm just a very understandable person.
hey, you are. I'm having no trouble understanding you at all. So, the statement stands. But anyway, that said, it's a classic trope, and they really do play out well at any
Yeah,
time.
yeah. I mean, it's predictable, but it's fun. Who
Sure.
cares? So, yeah.
Speaking of not fun,
Oh,
some of these new remakes of these classics.
yeah, yeah. You know, yeah. I'm kind of interested to see what the new Ninja Turtles looks like, because from the trailer, it looks. I mean, I haven't seen it, but from the trailer, it looked a lot closer to what I actually cared about with Ninja Turtles. But I never get my hopes up very high. But
Well, my understanding of the new Turtles is it feels kind of like a Turtles movie, but
yeah,
it doesn't look like a
yeah.
Turtles movie.
Well, sure. Yeah, they're never going to go back to the Amazing Puppets.
Yeah, which is
The Amazing.
that's such a shame.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's funny. There's a great. I was actually talking about this today. There's a great web series called Movies of Mikey, and uh, I've forgotten his name, Mike something or other. He's written for several video games. Anyways, um, but he does kind of like movie reviews of like lesser loved movies, and one of them is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and it's just great. It's hysterical, and but he pulls up. It's funny because like that movie like should not have been good. Like the writer, it was the first movie he'd ever written, and like before that he just wrote for some like crappy TV like Different Strokes and like just not good TV comedy.
Oh
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
the director of that movie, it was the only movie he ever directed, I think, or just like like basically the pedigree of the movie is terrible, and yet for some reason it was still good. Like, but yeah, I don't know. I also kind of wonder, well, what was it like He-Man? I'll never go back and watch He-Man because I loved that as a kid, and I'm pretty sure if I watched it now, it wouldn't hold up. But
It holds up better than you would think. I will say that.
I'll just take your word for it.
No, I'm not saying it holds up well,
Yeah.
but it holds up better than you would think, especially
Yeah.
considering it's got Dolph Lundgren. Because Dolph
Oh,
Lundgren
see, I'm not talking
can.
about Masters of the Universe. I'm talking about the cartoon He-Man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, Masters of the Universe is made by Canon Films. It's hard to go wrong with Canon Films.
True, true.
Oh,
Did you ever see
the
the
documentary?
middle 2000s He-Man remake that they had on Cartoon Network?
No.
Solid,
Oh, I'll
very
have to check
solid,
that out.
very reverent of the original material. As a matter of
Oh,
fact,
wow. See, maybe not all remakes are bad.
no, Cartoon Network up until hell these last 2 years has been really really solid. These last two
Yeah,
years they've gotten a little eh.
yeah, yeah. I used to do some work related to Cartoon Network a lot. There's a lot of good people working over there.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
There's some really good people
yeah,
trapped over there. As a matter of fact.
yeah. But yeah.
So, you do much gaming?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm a patient. I'm one of those patient gamers. I like to wait till things go on sale. So like right now, I just put about 15 or so hours into Just Cause 3. Just blowing up buildings and stuff. Um, but recently, let's see, I played Witcher 3, which is amazing. Um, and I played the blood. No, I played the first the DLC, and I've not yet got the new Blood and Wine DLC, but I'm excited about it.
Cool.
Um, but yeah, I always like to think I'm a gamer, but in truth, I don't play nearly as many video games as I probably should if I'm going to consider myself a gamer. But I've played video games my whole life. So my dad was he was an early investor in Atari, so I've had every generation of Atari machine up until they finally went out of business. Um,
Cool. Cool.
so yeah, I've been a PC gamer since PCs had games. So yeah,
Yeah, Atari was my first console, as a matter of fact. A 7600, I think it was.
yep, had that one. They were yeah, I was lucky to grow up with a nerdy dad. So I pretty much had all the computers as soon as computers were available. So that was very cool.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
I got lucky. We had well, after school, I'd stay over at a friend's house, and their dad was like super hardcore nerd, like pocket protector and the whole shebang. Guy was
Nice.
great. Like I was never able to get the game started because I could never figure out the answers to the question. But the original Leisure Suit Larry was on there.
Oh.
It
Yeah.
was like, how much do you tip? What's a tip?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was the best. Yeah, I think I might have attempted that once. Um, yeah, Leisure Suit Larry.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah, great stuff. Oh, but what I was going to mention, have you had the chance to play Far Cry Blood Dragon?
You know what? I did. I played part of it, and before oh, was it before I discovered Carbon? It might have been because then I want to say that I listened to some of that Power Glove. Well, whatever. Uh, um, I did, and the like right in the very beginning, within like 15 minutes, you have to do this protection mission where all these guys are coming in, and I absolutely abhor that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And this is why I can't consider myself a very good gamer. As soon as I become challenged too much, I just give up and I hate it.
Well, if you
I
like,
what
I've actually got
what
a playthrough on my channel.
Yeah, well, I should check it out. Well, actually, I've been meaning. I think I reinstalled it on my laptop because I've been meaning to try it again. Because I'm
Uh,
like, I can't keep making synthwave music and not play through Blood Dragon.
yeah, it's kind of essential. You know, it's
Yeah,
like if
well, I
you're
mean, the
going to be an
writing,
English
like
major.
obviously, the writing, whatever of the 20 minutes that I have played it, the writing is so pitch perfect, it's
Oh yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah.
Uh,
It
I won't
knocks it out of the
question the
park.
quality of the parody that it pulls off, certainly, but yeah, I'm such a wussy gamer. Like when I play a video game, I want to be, tantamount to a god. Like I just want to mow over everybody and just not have to, I have enough challenges in my real life. I don't want boss battles. Like I just want
Gotcha.
to mow everything down.
No, no. Well, there's
So,
plenty of cool games out there that totally let you do
yeah,
that.
which is why I just like blowing up stuff in Just Cause 3 right now. So
Yeah, yeah. Or you've got things like what Broforce, where it's just running around blowing shit up and being
yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
And a lot of these things too evoke that '80s aesthetic, which is
Oh
kind of
yeah,
hot these
yeah.
days.
It's coming back pretty hardcore. It's funny. What did my kids say? My son said something the other day. He's 9, and or almost 9. He said something the other day about how things look, looking old or something like that. And I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, back in my day, it had to look like that. Um, but yeah, yeah.
Oh, have you seen Kung Fury?
Yes, I have.
Excellent. There's a sequel just recently was announced, like last week or something.
Yes, I did. I'm intrigued to see what they do with it. Um, the yeah, I mean it was good. It was super enjoyable for what it was. The very much over the top.
Oh, yeah.
Um, I gotta say the recent film I was really impressed with was Turbo Kid.
Oh, yeah. Excellent movie. I
Because
recently finished that one myself.
yeah, I mean the soundtrack is great. What was it Lamatos? I can't remember the guys who did the soundtrack, but soundtrack's great, and the film itself is really good. Even with being over the top violent and stuff, there's still a good storyline and characters you can actually care about and stuff. So I was really impressed with that one. That was really cool.
Yeah,
But
and even in a modern context, not just like a completely cheesy, cultural milieu that you're
yeah,
just kind
yeah,
of dropping
exactly.
into.
You didn't have to like completely love over the top 80s stuff to enjoy Turbo Kid.
Yeah.
Like with it didn't lay it on quite as thick as Kung Fury did.
No, no. But
But
what are you
it's
gonna
good
do?
stuff. Yeah.
There's a couple more things I've seen. I'm drawing a blank at the moment. I'll have to send you some links or something. But there's a couple other things that are going on in that vein. I think. Oh, I heard somebody's doing a Lost Boys remake, and that
Interesting.
I I have very little faith in that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's so much. Yeah, I don't know. There's that so much of that why that stuff is good is because of when it was made. So yeah, I'm not sure how good a remake can capture those kind of things, but I don't know. Who knows? What was it the other day? I had a thought. I saw a trailer for a movie called Monster Trucks, and
Okay.
it's about yeah, exactly. It's about like a preteen boy or whatever, teenager boy, and he meets this like alien, and the alien really likes to be inside his truck, and it makes his truck like super powered because it like controls the truck. And it's super cheesy. Like it looks like a high budget uh Disney Channel movie.
That
But it's coming to theaters.
that
Um
sounds like it could maybe be awesome.
well, it's like it's not like I was like, wow, this looks terrible. But then I was like, well, good on them for just having an original idea. Like
Yeah.
I was like, I complain all the time about the remakes, but I gotta admit, I don't think I've ever seen a movie where monsters inhabit trucks and there are big truck chases. I don't know. But it struck me as like, man, it's getting really desperate when I can appreciate something like this because I'm so desperate for some originality. But
Oh man, talk about how jaded we are with media, right?
yeah, I know, and of course, look at the hypocrisy of me talking about I just want something original, but then I'm making music that's trying to harken back to the '80s as hard as I can. So
Well, hey, we didn't get enough at the time. We need some more.
there you go, there you go.
We're filling in that cultural need. That's all it is.
I agree. Yeah, I remember, probably 10 or 15 years ago, just wondering like why aren't action movies great anymore? Like they're
They
just I don't know
really
what it
aren't.
is about them. They're just not really great. And then what I really realized is that I just hadn't seen, or Paul Verhoeven just hadn't made a great action movie in a while.
Yeah,
Uh, that's when I finally realized that that's when I first started appreciating directors or whatever. When I was like, oh, that guy, he says he makes movies like I really like to see him.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know.
Well, the internet
Or
has
Reddit.
allowed things like this to happen. It allows these things to occur outside of the control of the traditional entertainment ruling parties.
Yeah, yeah,
The Hollywood elites. They can't really stop something that the people want to see from getting out if the people are willing to see it come through.
yeah. Yeah, the access to media now is absolutely crazy. I actually had a friend last night. I was bitching about being burnt out on promoting the EP, and my friend goes, "Watch Risky Business." I was like, I've never seen that one, and I did a few Google searches, and it was there on Amazon Prime, and I watched it, and it was great. And yeah, it was like used to you'd have to go out and find your closest video store and hope that it had it, and blah blah blah, and it's amazing the stuff you can find.
And hope it was rewound.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
uh, but
And most of it's
we all had that
unglorious.
Corvette on top of our VCR for rewinding.
Yeah, 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 exactly. The little
I kid. I had a Camaro.
yeah. Yeah. Or rewinding cassette tapes with your pencil, spinning it around.
Oh man, the good old days.
Yep, yep, yep.
Have you seen some of these special releases? A lot of artists in the synthwave and vaporwave scene are doing with the cassette.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I heard a great. There's a podcast, 99% Invisible. It's all about design, and they just started talking about. I meant to kind of link to it on all my synthwave hangout places, because they talked about how the prison system is keeping cassettes alive a lot, because a lot of prisons won't let CDs in because you can break them and turn them into weapons.
Right.
Um, but there's one manufacturer who basically makes all the cassettes,
Yeah.
and a big part of his sales is prisons, which I just found very interesting. And then I was like, hey, and it's the synthwave scene. But yeah, it was. I had I have an old 4-track cassette recorder, and I was thinking it'd be great to pull that out and run my mixes through that and get that cassette sound. But
It
the
really
power
is
supply on
magical.
it died.
Well, hey, it might be a good project,
Yeah, maybe. But then again, I
or it
gotta.
might be an eBay project. You know.
Yeah, yeah, maybe. Well, that's where I got it from. So
Hey.
yeah, who knows? I don't know if anyone's buying 4-track recorders anymore. Well, maybe synthwave guys are.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. You've got the right tools out there, then people are going to start picking them up. It's like
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
some older systems, like people that are using like original Nintendos to pull the sounds
yeah,
out.
make yeah,
There's only so many of those. Once they're gone, they're
yeah,
gone. So
yeah,
it's kind of how it is. And there's
yeah,
only really so much that a VST is ever going to do. You can't. There's just a certain organic nature to some sounds that you just can't quite emulate.
yeah, yeah. I've let that dream go just because I don't know. I don't. Well, the biggest thing is I don't have space for hardware, but
Yet.
but yeah, we'll see. Uh,
Hey, you keep the right attitude, you'll get there.
yeah. Well, I currently share an office/studio with my kid's playroom, so on
Well,
one
see, your
side,
head's in the right place.
yeah, my on one side is big monitor and guitars and stuff, and on the other side is IKEA storage full of board games and stuff. So yeah, it's it's fun. It's not really fun, but it's interesting. It's challenging.
Oh, that's okay though.
Yeah,
You got to live.
I make do. It's worked out so far.
All right. Well, and better that you be a good dad than
Yeah,
just try and live the rock star life. We've seen how that can turn out. So
yeah. Well, and that's a good way I test if I got a decent melody. If my 5-year-old is humming it the next day, then I know I've got a good catchy melody. So.
there you go. See, now that's a handy what litmus test to have handy.
Yeah, exactly. The other day, I was sitting at the computer and I hear from the other room, and he's humming the the main theme from Running Man, Harold Faltermeyer's Running Man theme,
Awesome.
and which is a great soundtrack. I love that. I've been obsessed with Harold Faltermeyer for like the past 4 or 5 months, um,
Fair.
and I was like, how absurd is that? There's a 5-year-old humming the theme song to Running Man, like a movie I'm not gonna let him watch for another 10 years. But
Well,
yeah, uh, good times, good times.
Yeah, I would say you could like maybe try and look up one of the TBS versions, but even
I
those
mean,
are
gosh,
kind of
Running Man, it'd be like 15 minutes long. Like, I don't know if it'd make any more sense.
yeah. Yeah, you might do better just reading him The Most Dangerous Game.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, these things all have their roots after all.
Yep, yep, yep.
So,
Oh,
excuse me. So, now, what was your first console?
my first console.
Yes.
I
If you can
actually,
remember.
I mean, it would have been the early Atari ones. I
Mhm.
can't remember exactly which ones we had, but once Atari basically started making PCs, I was a PC gamer from then on out.
Gotcha.
Um,
Well,
I think
what
I bought
game What game from your childhood really speaks out to you?
Lemmings.
Ah, excellent choice.
Yeah, that was. Oh man, that game was. That's the. I love that game.
A true classic. I actually played that one on my Tandy. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right?
that's I wish somebody would port Lemmings to mobile. I would play that all the time.
Oh, yeah, that would be a
Like
really easy sell.
I know, yeah, it's you like there's a few games that are kind of ripoffs. Well, there's a few games that are just blatant ripoffs and they're terrible. And then there's one called like Spirits or something like that that's like a more artsy kind of same concept, but it I don't know, it just didn't quite have the same. It was too artsy, like it was too like trying too hard to be pretty and not enough like kind of silliness. But and the mechanics just weren't quite as great. But yeah, man, that was oh god, the hours I sank. And the best part was the level codes. They'd give you like 20-digit long level codes, and so I'd have a graph book notebook paper. And I every time I beat a level, I'd write out the code. So next time I played, I could hop ahead to the code. And
Oh, yeah,
um,
yeah.
days, kids don't know what they got.
They don't. Oh, man. Those Castlevania and Mega Man codes. It's like you got to put
Yeah,
in something on a freaking graph.
yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah. They really. Auto saves. Auto saves. Seriously.
Yeah. Oh, oh, oh,
I'm
that was,
glad to see that health is making a return.
yeah, yeah. Actually, that was the things I hated the most. Growing up on PCs, you could quick save whenever you wanted to, and then watching the console market kind of move auto saves over to PC games, where like you could only save, in certain part. That drove me crazy.
I think a lot of that was driven by games like Resident Evil.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
you got to give them
exactly.
credit because at least they were cognizant of the fact and they really kind of tied their save system into the whole experience of the game.
Yeah, yeah, and like yeah, you can argue that it builds tension and stuff, but like from my point of view, like being a dad and stuff,
Yeah.
sometimes I get to play for literally 15 minutes before I have to shut down and go put kids to bed or whatever. So it's like I need to be able to save when I want to save, damn it. Like that drives me crazy.
Oh yeah, in
So
like some old console games like some Nintendo or Genesis games, you'd have to go long ways before you'd even get some of these codes.
yeah. Oh, that's like my wife. She's never been a gamer at all, and so my kids are playing a video game, and my wife is like, all right, it's time for dinner. Shut it down. And they're like, well, wait, I can't. I gotta find a save. And she's like, what do you? No, just shut it down. And I have to go to him like. I know it seems ridiculous, but it's true. The consoles won't let him turn it off right now. Like you have to give him like a 5 minute window, like because that's the word. That was the worst thing in the world as a kid when your mom was too impatient, and you're like,
Oh,
hold on, and she'd come up and turn off the console. They're
oh
like,
the worst.
no, like,
It's like, Mom,
oh,
I
they
was
had
so
no idea.
close.
Yeah, oh, that was the worst.
You could have saved right outside the Goblin King's lair.
Yeah, uh,
Now I've
uh,
got to fight the whole undead horde again.
yeah. Or the worst, like the video games where the save point is just before a long unskippable cutscene. Like,
Oh,
good lord, that's like those people deserve a special layer in hell. Like, it's like, come on, like, did you not playtest this at all? Like, come on.
that's
Ugh.
one thing I've got to give credit to the modern era of gaming for. It's the
Yeah,
skippable cutscene.
yeah, yeah, really. Or well, that's another thing. As a dad, like I hate when you can't pause a cutscene. Like when the only if you press any button, then the next button will skip it. And it's like, no, I need to know what they're saying. But hold on, wife. Like, give me 2 minutes. I can't look away from the screen right now. Like,
Like, I'm watching
yeah,
my soaps, woman.
yeah. There you go. Yeah, that's yeah. Pretend it's Downton Abbey. All right.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. It's like they're having sex in the city right now.
uh, Big Might Lever again.
Yeah, yeah.
That
See?
was too much of a reference.
Yeah, well. That's
Uh,
fine. It's fine.
yeah,
I don't know if my audience will get it, but by God, they can look it up. That's what Google's for.
whatever. Yeah, that's what Google's for.
Because we live in the future, and by crikey, you've got the Akashic Library at the top right of your freaking browser. Use it.
Yeah. Yeah. Here, let me take a break. I need to grab some water. Is that okay? Can I
Yeah, that's totally fine. I'll
pause for a second?
actually put on Please Jan Hammer Don't Hurt 'Em for the
Let's
folks
do
to
that.
listen
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. That's a good one. I'll run away while that plays. Sweet guitar.
Alrighty. Welcome back.
Had to be back.
Woo! Alright. So, are you watching anything?
Let's see. You know, the standard Game of Thrones.
Hmm.
Uh,
I haven't seen it. I hear it's good. I'm not
yeah,
joking.
it's enjoyable. I really like it. I'd recommend it. Uh,
You know, you're the third person that's told me that.
really?
Yeah, believe it or not.
Well, with Game of Thrones on, I that means I have an HBO Now subscription, so I've been binging on all the HBO shows that I haven't seen over the past year.
Oh, cool.
So you know, well, I'm loving Silicon Valley. Um,
Oh, do they have their back catalog on there? Like, do they have the Spawn animated series they did like years and years back?
They have a lot of their back catalog. They don't have
Cool.
that much of their back catalog.
I'm
I
a
wanna
huge
say
fan of
maybe-
old school American animation. What can I say?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, they've got, you know, oh gosh, I'm trying to think of like what might be the old, you know, they've got The Wire.
Cool.
And
Like
a lot of-
like Oz, say.
They do have Oz.
I would hope because that's I mean that's the same time chronologically as the Spawn animated series was on.
Well, they might. I don't know. I've not seen it, but
I'm sure it's all a matter of what the demand is.
well, you know what kills me? They don't have Tales from the Crypt.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
That
That's something that everyone should be able to carry with them always.
yes. God, I love Tales from
It's
the Crypt
like-
so much.
Oh, now there's something that could make a comeback.
Oh, so
Like-
I dude, well, you know, I don't know. Have you seen Black Mirror?
Sounds familiar.
Oh God. Okay. You need to find Black Mirror. It's a
Alright.
BBC show. Each one is an hour long. Like each season, there's only 3 seasons. Each season is 6 episodes.
Okay.
I think it's like 6 episodes. But it's an anthology show. Like each episode is a different story.
Oh,
You know,
so
different
maybe kind
characters,
of like an
different
American Horror Story thing, like kind of how they do the seasons.
I get, yeah. You know, I haven't seen American Horror Story, but
Each
it's
season's
similar,
a different
but,
story.
yeah. I mean, honestly, the quickest, whatever, Twilight Zone. It's basically it's a new Twilight Zone.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah. Oh,
That
God,
sounds
man.
awesome.
Black Mirror is amazing. Like it is so good. The bad episodes are still really good, and the good episodes are amazing. It's so there's and then they had an hour and a half Christmas special, and yeah.
Oh, I love
it's
Christmas
so good.
specials.
But yeah, the Brits, man, they just everything has to have a Christmas special. Even really dark sci-fi series like Black Mirror.
Oh,
But,
hey, you know, on that same note, do you remember not Tales from the Dark Side, the one from the 90s?
was that oh no, I'm thinking I'm thinking of the what was the no. I don't think I ever saw Tales from the Dark Side. No.
That one
Wait,
should. Hold on, I need to write down
that
Black
wasn't a
Mirror. I'm
movie,
gonna
was it?
forget it.
What was the movie that had Leslie Nielsen in the first scene?
Was it Creep Show?
Yeah, Creep Show.
Oh man, now there's another one that don't see.
Yeah,
That's
which is
one that
the
you
same
could do
thing.
again, and that wouldn't screw anything up.
Yeah, I know. I love that kind of anthology stuff. I love when that's actually one of the reasons why I love the way the Brits do stuff so much. Is like they'll just do 1 or 2 seasons of 6 episodes just to feel it out, just to see what it's like.
Yeah,
It
that.
doesn't have to be the American Office where it goes on for 14 years or something like that. Like you can just try a little bit and see what happens, and maybe it'll be great, and we'll leave it at that. But yeah, I love those kind of anthology things where all different sort of actors, cameos galore and stuff like that. Like, it's just yeah, I just love it. Like you get to see I remember one of the Tales from the Crypt that I remember the most had John Stamos in it, and so like I knew him. I mean, it might have been done while Full House is still on. If not, it was maybe 2 years after Full House.
Yeah, so
And
he's still hot in people's memory.
yeah, so and he's still very much the Full House guy. Like he's so but then he's on Tales from the Crypt, and obviously the story is much darker, and his character takes a very dark twist at the end, and it's just so like seeing actors do different stuff. Like yeah, Tales from the Crypt is the best. And then you've got the Crypt Keeper who does puns, so it's like
Oh
it's perfect.
yes.
It's absolutely perfect. Punny humor plus horror, and yeah, some of the episodes were just straight up funny, and some episodes were like genuinely terrifying, and I had nightmares about for years later. I mean,
Well,
oh, it was great.
there have been some things like in that kind of vein. The Masters of Horror anthology. I think
Uh huh.
Showtime
Yeah,
might have been doing
and I
that,
watched some of those, and some of those were pretty cool.
and that's
I
just
think
asking for a really good person to announce. Like I don't know, a Crypt Keeper,
yeah,
Elvira, say. I don't know, just saying.
yeah. Well, like I think probably the problem with although there were some of the Masters of Horrors were a little bit funnier,
Yeah,
but I mean the best thing about the Tales from the Crypt is that they were very aware of the fact that like absurdist humor goes super well with horror. Um, and so yeah, it was just such a perfect match that yeah, whoever put together Tales from the Crypt did it so perfectly. It
well,
was
they
so
had some of the best writers, and
yeah.
they'd get some really top-notch talent of the day.
Yeah, I
And
know. Yeah, that's what I love about it. And I wonder if it was just like, were egos not as huge back then, or what? Like, or if because yeah, it just seemed like everybody's like, this sounds like tons of fun. Let's do it. And then they did it, and that's why it was so amazing because everybody was just having tons of fun. So yeah,
well, that kind of thing happens now, but it's more relegated to places like YouTube. And
yeah, that's true. That's true. That is
so
very
let's we need a retro throwback AV community.
true.
I mean, it's out there. You can see the stuff.
Oh sure. I
We need
mean,
to
I
get
mean
everybody together.
those are the people making Turbo Kids and Kung Furies and
Yeah,
whatnot.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well, I
mean, the
mean,
money's there. Like Kung Fury, they went well and above their Kickstarter goals to turn it
yeah.
into the full length film.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, and I mean, you could argue that the David Hasselhoff video for Kung Fury was one of those situations where everyone's like, "Hey, wouldn't this be awesome?" And everyone was like, "Yeah, it would." And then they put out a great video,
Yeah,
So
it was magical, as a matter of fact.
yeah. Oh, it was kind of funny though. I was so bitter because I was like, because it hit so big. Like people who don't listen to synthwave at all were sharing on Facebook and stuff, and I was like, and I had that stupid teenager uh elitist reaction where it's like, hey, this is my thing. You guys don't get this, and it was so stupid. I was so
I was
pissed.
listening to synthwave
Yeah.
after it got unpopular and before it got popular
Yeah,
again.
exactly. And then I was like, wait, okay, how can I steer this to like, hey, if you guys like this, you might like Vampire Stepdad, like, desperately clinging, but yeah, that was,
Hey, you
yeah.
take every opportunity you can. I'll tell you what.
Mhm.
What got me into the scene? Drive.
Yeah, yeah.
That was it.
Sorry. My thing was I hated that movie too much to appreciate the soundtrack.
Oh, really, man? I love that movie.
Yeah, I know, and I'll probably get banished from the scene just for saying that because I know so many people they saw Drive or they played my
Hotline
Hotline
Miami.
Miami.
Yeah.
That's like the two biggest things that got everyone into it. But yeah, my thing with Drive, I really liked oh shoot,
Not a family movie.
no, that's very much true. I really liked damn it, now I can't remember his name, Walter White, uh,
Yeah.
Malcolm in the Middle guy. His part in it was
Oh,
amazing.
Brian
Cranston, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
He was amazing, and I really liked his part, and I thought that was good. But uh, I don't know, there was just too much brooding. I don't really identify with the guy who just kind of stares off all the time. Like I was kind of like, I don't know,
That's funny coming
maybe I
from a
read it wrong
vampire.
when I watched it.
You know, you're supposed to be brooding.
Yeah, I know. See, I'm not good at that. That's why I have songs like called "Please Jan Hammer, Don't Hurt Him," and stuff like that. I don't take myself seriously enough for that kind of stuff. So
Ah, well, that's okay.
yeah, that's why it's Vampire Stepdad and not I can't even think of a mock name that won't actually make fun of somebody that's in the scene. So I won't try and make up a mocking synthwave name. But it would definitely have Miami in the name. So, but
That actually doesn't really narrow it down too much.
exactly, exactly. I love that. Somebody put together a what is your synthwave name graph? By your if your name starts with A, it's this, and yeah, it was all Vector Ninja 97 or something. Well, not
Awesome.
97. It'd have to be 87 because
Well, yeah.
But yeah, yeah.
Well,
But
either that or 199X.
there you go. There you go. Well, somebody has that, don't they?
I don't.
I
I
feel
think
like I've
so,
seen that
actually.
somewhere, but yeah. So again, I don't want to step anybody's toes, but yeah, I feel like I lucked into Vampire Stepdad, but uh, everyone seems to love it, which is great.
No, it's
So
great. It is a. You've got such a great name, man. That is just. It's delicious. That's what
yeah,
it is.
yeah. I was trying to think of something. At first, I was trying to go for the kind of name thing, like a character's name. Um, but I saw that so many people were doing things like, obviously there's Com Trues, and I
Right.
saw people who were just kind of ripping off that idea. Like there was a guy who named, um, it was Brad Pitt, so it was, no, it was Rad Brit or something. I don't know, something like that. And his was actually pretty great. I was like, that's a smart one. I saw a couple other people doing. I was like, oh, okay, so this is gonna be a thing. So I don't really want to do a name thing. Um, and so then I was just trying to think of what I thought of the most, like what I remembered the most about the '80s, and a lot of it was uh, TV shows, and especially because in the '80s the divorce rate was going up, and
Yeah.
so all the TV shows were about weird family units, whether it be My Two Dads or Three Men and a Baby, that kind of stuff, and
Totally.
um, so I was like, okay, stepdad, but it has to be like weird. Like, what would it be? And it was a mixture of my stepmom is an alien, um, and Fright Night, which actually, in Fright Night, he's not
Excellent.
a dad or anything, but just that idea of the kid who's all like, "Don't you see? He's a vampire." So I was thinking like, you've got the stepdad who comes in and the teenager who doesn't like him for some reason. There's just something not right about him, and then he realizes that his stepdad is a vampire. It's like it's too perfect. So yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
then I started. I got the logo made, and I realized you're not actually supposed to hyphenate stepdad, but now it's too late. So now it's step hyphen dad because that's just the way it is. So
That's how vampires do it. You know,
yeah,
it's an
exactly.
ancient Carpathian tradition.
There you go.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that's the Middle English is the way that they did that.
Yeah, yeah, totally. It's a transliteration or something.
Yeah, there you go. Uh, but yeah, the one thing that's funny about coming out with Vampire Stepdad is I'm realizing just how uncreative I am by how creative other people have been with my name. Like uh, everyone has come up with crazy ideas, for different whatever whether it be TV shows or movies or just different ways to present things, and it makes me realize that I don't know if I quite deserve the name because people are so much more creative. Bishop of Battle, who's another synthwave artist, he wrote up a Facebook post for me today that was like poetry. It was wonderful. But I was like, I was talking to him today. I'm like, you need to be my PR guy because you do this a lot better than I do. So the best I can do is call people kiddos every once in a while. But so.
Sunny Jim's a good one too. Feel free
Sunny
to use
Jim?
it. Yeah. Listen here, Sunny Jim.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Yeah. 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 In trying to find silly things on the internet, I've realized that there's a lot of really terrible vampire related stuff out there.
Oh, lots.
And once you try and look at what people are saying about stepdads, it's very rarely very nice. So I kind of avoid that half of it some, but yeah. It was funny. What was it? Who was it that I was? When they were first playing on Fratelli 85, they played "The Night I Met Your Mother."
Yeah.
And I thought of it as something like romantic about, let me tell you about the night that I met your mother, and how I fell in love with her, blah blah blah. And everyone in the chat room was going on and on about how it was so much more insulting because it was me talking about betting your mother, and yeah, it's funny how different people see things differently.
Oh, so. they took it as a your mom kind of thing.
Exactly, huh? Basically. And I was like, yeah, well, I guess, if that's the way it's going to go, that's the way I'll have to go with it. But
all right, well, she invited you in. What can you say?
Yeah, exactly.
Those are the rules.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny, too, because I'm not even that big of a vampire fan. I probably should admit that. But, like, vampires were never really my forte in the horror genre. But anyways, so now I've got to like bone up on everything about vampires to make sure I understand every pun that other people make. So
that is to say, fang up. Wah, wah. I had to. You gotta.
No.
Well, I mean, there was a lot at stake.
God. I heard clicking. Are you searching for vampire puns? You just googled vampire idioms, didn't you? I'm calling you.
Yeah. Well, like, I'm trying to come up with something else here, but all I had was the stakes and the thing.
Yeah, no, that's
broadcasting live from Santa Carla.
That's actually a movie. I haven't seen that movie probably since I first saw it. I need to watch that movie again.
Oh, really good, man. The soundtrack is just ace.
Oh, and that amazing saxophone scene. Yeah, that part I've seen. That's another perfect example of if somebody could come in and do that right now, they would clean up.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I love that everyone thinks that that's like faked because that dude is like so buffed and oiled up that they're like, there's no way that's the actual saxophone player. It's like, nope, that's him. Like,
dude, that's like 80s, early 90s.
Exactly.
For sure.
That's what the 80s were like, you guys. The really buff dudes could also be awesome on saxophone. Like, that's just how it was.
Yeah, it's like people were like samurai back then. It's like, I totally write haikus and ride my motorcycle and I can sword fight or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, Highlander. Yeah?
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah. Highlander. Yeah.
I mean, what more needs to be said than that? There could be only one.
God, I actually... Yeah, I would stay up late. When was it USA that would show the TV series? I don't know.
Yeah.
I would stay up late to watch Highlander. Duncan MacLeod of the Clan MacLeod.
Indeed.
Those are the days.
Oh, man.
And then I watched the movies, and I watched one too many of those movies.
And I think I know which one.
Yeah. We all know which one.
We all, yes.
A Highlander movie that shall not be named.
Yeah, well, it never happened.
Yeah.
There was Kurgan, then there was a long blank period in which nothing happened, no one ever said anything different, and then some other movies came out that weren't very bad at all.
Yeah.
And there was a television show which ended on an odd note.
Well, yeah, again, that's that thing where you've gone a couple too many seasons and you don't know where to take it, and you should have just ended it, 2 seasons ago, but
Well, back to American television. That's a lot of the problem with it. When something gets created, it's like, okay, we could do this, but can we do it for 49 seasons?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like,
And like I wish they'd bring back the miniseries. Like
yeah,
that'd be so great.
there were some really good ones. I
Yeah,
mean, you know, as cheesy and terrible as a lot of them were, some of the after school specials were actually kind of good.
yeah. And just, when you have an arc, when you know you're only going to do this for 12 episodes, you do it really good for 12 episodes rather than, like, a perfect example was Lost around like season 3 or 4, where they're like, oh, I think we've got to stretch this. So let's add in new characters. And you're just like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
So, yeah. I always said there was I can't remember what network it came on, but I remember seeing the trailer for a TV show called The Black Donnellys. And I was like, man, that would make a great one season show, but it wasn't a one season show. It was, they tried to make it into 2 seasons and it got canceled by the end of the one season because they couldn't resolve the storyline that the trailer talked about. Because if they resolved it, then the show would be over. So it's just like, you're setting yourself up for failure.
I think I think they've kind of set a little bit of that forward with this new Ghostbusters travesty, where they're wanting to make a really big thing out of it, and it's kind of playing off like it's just going to be another throwaway movie, and they're not going to get the series out of it that they're wanting.
Yeah, everything's got to be a trilogy. Although I'm sure it will make enough money. The first one will make enough money, and they'll make at least a second one.
Oh, I
and
sincerely hope
won't
not.
Make enough money, but
I dislike Paul Feig intensely.
I've liked several of his movies, but
his movies are all right. I just dislike the guy for his politics. He's an asshole.
Okay. I don't know his politics much, but
they suck. Yeah. But hey, that's me.
Yeah.
Well, hey, we've hit an hour and 10, so I guess maybe we could start wrapping up. Why don't you tell people about some stuff they should do, where they should look you up, Facebook, Twitter, SoundCloud.
If anyone's still listening to my blabbering mouth, I'm on all of them really. Facebooks, the Twitters, pretty much everything is at Vampire Stepdad. The most important one is vampirestepdad.com. No, sorry, vampirestepdad.bandcamp.com. Although I do have vampirestepdad.com too. But yeah, I got a new EP out today called Sweater Weather. And it's really good. I like it. Other people seem to like it too, and maybe you'll like it. So go check it out.
Yeah, I've been enjoying it myself. I had at least one song on the last show.
Yes.
Maybe next show I'll try and throw in something else since it's your preview day.
Yeah, maybe if I didn't talk so much.
Premiere day, not preview day. What am I saying?
More music.
That's okay. That's okay. Hey, maybe have you on next time with a new single or something.
Cool.
Yeah, and on that note, you're welcome back anytime. And if you get any new tracks or anything, just toss them my way. I'll make sure they get some airplay. And I don't know. Aside from that, been good talking to you.
Yeah, it was fun. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. Well, this is Evan, that fake guy Dan, signing off. There'll be links in the thing below. This has been the one and only Vampire Stepdad.
That's me.
Well, folks, thanks for listening and watching, if you're watching. Anyway,